It's the Stretch 4 podcast, your weekly look at hoops, hip hop, culture, and life. From me, the Dirk Nowitzki of Stretch 4 podcast, Aaron Herzog, and my co-host, the Rashid Wallace of the pod.
Wow.
I'll take that.
I didn't want to put you on the spot because I didn't prepare for you coming in. I didn't tell you to prepare your Stretch 4 counterpart. No, I'll take that. I'll take that. Philly born and bred.
I've seen you get into fights. Yeah. I've seen you get into fights on the floor before.
And that'll happen occasionally.
Lead the league in techs.
I have gray hair coming in weird spots. Yeah.
In certain spots. Yeah.
I would hoop in Air Forces. Yeah. All of those things.
Yeah. Tracks, How's it going, Keenan? How's your week been since we set goals on the podcast last week?
Honestly, it's been good. It's been good. I'm getting some feedback from folks on some of those. The people seem to like what we set out for some life goals.
What we like to hear.
Updates.
They want to sign up to be your accountability.
My accountability buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few people volunteer for that as well. So,
I want an accountability-bearer buddy. I want someone to keep me accountable for my Build-A-Bears. My collection's getting too big.
It's key. You got to make sure that you have enough love to give to all of your bears.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we do a podcast together. You understand.
I get it. No, I get it.
Keenan, we've been preparing these topics for a while. You sent me, you keep me updated. We text back and forth all week long, sending topics. We've got a hoops question that I'm eager to get into. Do you want to? I think you should set it up because you brought it to my attention.
Okay. So you've got 1 year. You've got $1 million to utilize as a resource. And you are guaranteed 40 minutes in an NBA basketball game.
Okay.
Given that year, given that $1 million, do you think you could score in those 40 minutes in an NBA game?
A single point.
A single point. That's all it is. Just can you score?
That's a question you picked up from the internet. Okay, so
yes.
Very excited to get into this.
Yeah.
Very excited to hear your take on it. Very excited to give my own. I'm going to give a little preface, right? In no world do I think with all the money, all the time, all the resources, if given a fair shake, I could make an NBA roster. I don't think in a fair tryout, I would ever sniff a G League roster. I just want to preface everything I say from now on. Okay?
That's fair.
Because I have two answers to this, right?
Okay.
My first answer is I don't need a year. Put me in tomorrow. Put me in tomorrow.
Yeah.
40 minutes, I score a single point. By hook or by crook, I score a single point. I'm not playing a minute of defense. I'm cherry picking every time. They're throwing me. I'm going to get a layup off a cherry pick. I'm going to force a foul. And if if anything else, I'm just going to be so annoying that I get a tech and I shoot the free throws. And I'm scoring a single point tomorrow in an NBA game. I don't need to. Now, if I have to play it straight, if I have to play it completely straight, I'm going to have to be a little crafty about it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you think you could step onto the floor?
Tomorrow, I could cherry pick a layup. I could at very least pump fake my way into 2 at the line, and I'm hitting 1 out of 2 at the line. I'm hitting
in an NBA arena.
In an NBA arena, it's free throws, baby. Get Gene Hackman out there. Measure the hoop. It's 10 feet from the floor, 16 feet from the baseline. It's the same shot.
What if you're at the center and you got a crowd that's chanting for they're bricking for chicken?
Nobody's getting any Frosties. Nobody's getting any Chick-fil-A's. Chick-fil-A's not getting any business on my watch. Not on every day is Sunday when I'm at the free throw line. Every day is Sunday.
Every day is Sunday.
Every day is
listen,
Sunday.
I love the confidence.
You put me in the game. I mean, like I'm saying by cheaters' methods, I score tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
If you want a real answer, given a year to train
and $1 million.
and $1 million to train. So I can hire, trainers. I
Yeah.
can hire nutritionists. I can
Yeah.
legitimately get into the best shape of my life.
That's LeBron. He's spending $1 million a year on his body.
It's
You get
LeBron.
Bron money.
Yeah. I get Bron money to spend $1 million. That's massages. That's cryogenic chambers to sleep in. That's cold treatments. Supplements. That's everything I could possibly ask. Now I'm getting up there
Sports
in age.
psychologist.
1 year from today, I will be a few months away from turning 40. So I'm gonna be old as hell. But
okay.
my body's fresh. I don't have any NBA minutes on me. I'm guaranteed.
Right.
I'm guaranteed 40 minutes in the NBA. I'll tell you right now, I'm already
Yes.
in the best shape of my life. I'm in better shape than I was 18 years old. I have that going on right now. I play basketball pretty often. I don't get tired. I'm running up and down the court. With a year, I'm gonna have the gas to play 40 minutes. Okay. I'm still I'm gonna give up 50. Whoever I'm guarding is going off that night. Take the over on them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Put them in your parlay, because I'm not. My lateral quickness gone. It's
not
gone.
Where it was.
No lateral quickness. I'm still close to dunking on bad days, and on real good days, I could still throw one down. I am 6'5". Okay, that
helps.
We do have that going for us. We're both pretty tall.
I could conceivably fit on an NBA floor.
Here's what I focus on in a year, right? If I have a year to spend, I'm focusing on my wind, so I can just be 40 minutes up and down. I can run up and down the floor. I'm sprinting. I'm getting out there. I'm not crashing the board. If I'm not cherry picking, I'm not crashing the boards. I'm getting out there. Maybe I'll leak out for a layup. I'm also practicing my jumpers. I'm running to the corner. I'm practicing my corner threes. I'm getting my jump shot on point. They're going to leave me open. They're going to leave me wide open.
Yeah.
They're going to double off me. I'm going to throw it into the post. They're going to double my big man. He's going to kick it out to me. I'm going to get a pretty good look. I got to get a quick release, because I've never experienced NBA style closeouts.
Yeah.
I'll probably get a few shots thrown. I'll probably get a few, but I'm chucking. I'm going one for
sure.
I'm going 1 for 45 that night.
Just one?
I gotta do is you know what? Here's what I'm doing. That's all I need to do. I need to score 1 point. Hey, maybe I'll throw a head fake. And Trey Young myself into somebody to get 3 free throws.
Okay.
I'm going 1 for 3.
Interesting. It's okay. I like this take.
But I think that's my take. What other chance do I have? I got to get myself to the free throw line, or I got to get the ball into the post and get that kick out. I got to hope that the ball swings its way to me. I got to hope that I have unselfish teammates making that extra pass, or I just go on the nets and I trail Ben Simmons as he has an open layup. Ben,
put it right back, baby.
Whenever Ben has he won't even shoot it. Whenever Ben's driving in, he's got a dunk. He gives me a no look pass. Instead, I get a little layup.
That's a good point. You could just get out and run with people.
I could get out and run with people. So I'm turning it into.
Okay.
My training is going towards becoming a stamina king, and also jump shots.
Okay.
I'm Ray Allen. I'm Ray Allen in his last years.
Okay, I like this.
What about you, Keenan? What's your plan? Do you think you could do it? A single point?
Well, so before we get out of your side, what's your final point?
Questions.
What's your final point total?
My final point total 7. I hit 1.
Okay.
I hit 1 3-pointer, 1 legitimate 3-pointer, 1 heave at the buzzer. Make Sports Center, baby, because I'm practicing heaves too.
You're in my head heaves on that one.
So I get 1 heave, I get 1 legitimate 3-pointer, and I go 1 for 6 from the free throw line.
Nice. Okay, so you touched on a bit of my strategy. Here's what I'm practicing: free throws, deep threes,
half court shots.
Yeah. Because I am going to get to Curry, Barry levels, Nash levels of free throw shooting. Uh, one, so that if I get to the line, fantastic. But two, I'm shooting all the procedural texts.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Easy, easy. So
I mean, part of this deal is that you get $5 million. That's, you get $1 million to train, and then if you score, you get paid 5 mil. So you just, if you got to pay off the
oh,
coach, if you got to
easy.
pay off the
Yeah,
coach, give him a little bribe to
coach.
get those
Yeah,
procedural techs.
I'm shooting all the procedural texts. I'm on the floor for 40 minutes. There's going to
Yeah.
be,
So you'd be a pest.
something.
There's going
There's
to
going to be
be an
something.
illegal defense, or,
Yeah,
there's going
yeah.
to be, somebody's mouthing off.
Somebody's going to get called for a flagrant because I'll just flop. There's
Flop. Yeah,
plenty.
exactly.
There's
Yeah.
plenty. I will take advantage of every possible 30 seconds left. We have the ball. I'm getting up a quick shot 2-for-1. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. We're getting up the floor. Boom. That shot's going up at 28. So that's another
playing
4 shot, or
percentages.
that's another 3 shots. Playing the percentages, exactly.
You gotta hope the game's a blowout.
Oh, it's gonna be a blowout.
It's gonna be.
it's gonna be. We're gonna get waxed.
You get a garbage time basket.
Yeah, here's the thing. We're gonna get waxed because I am gonna be a huge defensive liability on the floor.
Yeah.
And if I'm playing 40 minutes, somebody, like you said, somebody's going off. So it's gonna be a blowout. I'm not crashing boards. They're gonna get so many second chance opportunities. That it'll definitely be a blowout. And then I'm trying to get a bucket on the Jaden Springers of the league, as opposed to trying to get a bucket on starters.
Yeah.
Not to say that I am any closer to those guys in talent, but like I got a better shot.
I mean,
of scoring on them.
You're technically closer.
Technically, yes.
You're technically closer.
Yeah.
Here's another strategy. Jump a passing lane.
Oh yeah, I'm gambling on
Just
everything.
Gamble
Absolutely.
on everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, half of my prep would not be like physical work. It would just be watching film.
Yeah.
I'm watching tendencies. Yeah.
Plays.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're watching play. Do you know what team you're playing against going in?
If we know what team, then I know their
Study
sets.
their
I'm gonna be Braun out there just calling out plays, and absolutely.
Yeah. I like that both of our strategies, neither one of us are playing it straight in any way whatsoever. We're just like, hey, if we need to go for that point, we have no delusions whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking I'm just going out there and in the flow of the offense, I'm gonna get a good bucket. Yeah. Like, could I sit in the corner and have somebody help off and like just hope to hit an open jump shot? Sure.
Yeah.
But like that's not gonna be my goal. That's not what I'm focused on.
Here's a question for you, because you've been on teams with and played against future NBA players in high school.
This is true.
Right? What is the difference like at a high school level from
strength.
Just like
strength and speed? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, those are the two biggest. So take a let's see, let's pull out the list. We played against Kendrick Perkins, who's already a big boy. He's already a big boy.
Yeah.
Just size and strength.
I mean, he's like what? He's like 6'10", and then just like solid as hell,
and just like, solid. Yeah. Let's see, Charlie Villanueva and Luol Deng on the same team, by the way. There's nothing you can do about that. Their point guard would literally just come down the floor, cross half court, and kind of just throw it somewhere near the rim.
Yeah. So it's just like,
go get it.
So a lot of it is just like taking like a normal human being and like timesing them by like 1.2.
Yeah, they're like, just a little bit more physically
advanced. Bigger, they're stronger, they're physically advanced. Yeah. And then when you know that, you get to focus on developing the skills that will turn you into a high level player.
Right. Right.
because
You
it's
can
like a kid
you
who's
can
just
then work on little
yeah,
things. Yeah.
it's like you've always been good at math, you know what I mean? So like
Right, right.
you learn like, oh, I have a I you know, it's like the same way. Like somebody's like developing the skills that will make them yeah.
You can start to specialize in things. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Whereas I was just trying to get on the floor, you know.
yeah, as I get
Mm.
older, I wonder what would have been the perfect path for me to pursue as a child. You know what I mean? Like if I would have known, like
Yeah.
what would have been what the optimal like, hey, this is what, like if I grow up in some sort of like futuristic like place, like it's just like, okay, like based on your, physical, mental, personality traits, like everything that we know about your nature and your nurture, like should you what should you pursue? I don't know the answer. And that's probably why I'm wallowing in
I,
adulthood.
I feel pretty confident in what the answer would have been for me.
For you?
Yeah, I should have done some sort of computer engineering.
Yeah. By
Just
the way
based
your
on
brain
like,
works or like
yeah, the way my brain works, the way my personality is, I could totally just like
be a
sit
programmer.
down for hours and code. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could have been me.
I do enjoy I do enjoy working in solitude. I
Mhm.
enjoy
Yeah.
like kind of that like I enjoy repetitive like when it comes to work, like a work task. But
Mhm.
like I'm also I always thought I was an introvert and I'm not. I'm not an introvert. I've discovered
Right.
that recently because like when
Yeah.
I re-energize by being around people.
Okay.
When I actually discovered like the definitions and what those terms mean, like I get charged up by being around people. It makes me excited. I get like renewed. When I'm solo, when I'm on my own for too much, I get drained. It downs me out, um
Quite the opposite here, my friend.
but I'm not like a social, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not like a social extrovert. It's like a weird
Yeah.
combination.
It's like extrovert versus outgoing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Like I
Like,
like
yeah,
being
yeah,
around people. I like especially like, small groups of good friends is my thing instead of
yeah,
like, big groups of random people.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it does. I need that to like recharge my energy, like being around people. But like, yeah, I have no idea. Like, would it pop like I don't know, I liked music you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I was
Yeah.
always somebody who like I studied journalism in high school because I liked a little bit of a lot of things. And I
Right.
thought that
Right.
that was one of the like I like dabbling but not specializing, So I don't
Right.
know,
Right.
maybe just like being like a journalist was the path that I should have taken, like
it's
following what I actually went to school for, like doing a
it's
little bit,
yeah, yeah. It's tough though. Like, so I feel like so much of that decision comes with not only what you are like kind of predisposed to enjoy and things like that, but just like also the things that you encounter along the way. So like,
Mm.
how much of that is like, at least for me, coming into Temple, my idea was, yeah, sports journalism. That's the path. And then everybody
Oh, it was two. I
wanted
mean, this was
wanted
like
to do journalism.
2003. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody
So I
wanted
was
to.
like,
Yeah,
ah, well then there's no way I'll ever get a job. So like you need to pivot somewhere. So, like how much of that just comes how much of that is based on what you run into and potential obstacles and blockers or perceived obstacles
yeah.
that come your way too.
What about sports? If you like from a young age, if you had to pick a sport to focus on, so you could like reach the pinnacle of that sport, what do you think it would be for you?
Knowing what I know now,
Yeah. Uh huh.
um so I always joke about this when talking about my future children. Um
Hmm.
Probably lacrosse.
Okay.
And I say that for a few reasons. Me personally, because there's not a huge amount of diversity within the lacrosse community. So I
Be
would
bunked from
stand
the
out.
wire.
I'd be bumped from the wire, exactly. Uh but no, when you look at you take those NCAA commercials and they're like, yeah, most of these student athletes will not become professional athletes, right?
Mhm.
So when you look at the top lacrosse schools, they're also typically just great schools. Um, and so you take a sport that has a lot of similar movement to basketball, which is a sport I know, a sport where observing people, me as me in middle school and high school, I probably would have been one of the better athletes on the floor. Not to say that there aren't, or on the field rather, not to say that there aren't good athletes,
Mhm.
but just from what I've observed, I probably would have been one of the better athletes. I got a story because there's a lack of diversity, and I end up at a great school.
Great.
That's
Yeah.
that's probably the path I would have taken.
Mhm. I think for me, I have no context for any sport outside of like just like kind of like mainstream ass sports. I
Mhm,
didn't grow up with any sort of tennis, any sort of golf, any sort of lacrosse, that was not in my high school at all. So like, basketball obviously has always been my favorite sport. It's the one I played the most. I
mhm.
don't if I would have focused on just basketball, being in really good shape, if I wouldn't have been 300 pounds when I was 18 years old. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if
yeah,
top physical thing, I probably could have been like a like a small school. I probably could have went to college to play basketball, but like D2, D3. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
probably could
yeah,
have
yeah,
done
yeah.
that basketball wise. I'm
For
like
sure.
I'm
I've
tall,
seen you play. You
but
definitely
I
could.
don't
You definitely could have.
I'm skilled, but I'm not like I don't have the like quick athleticism that you kind of need for really high level basketball.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
straight
Yeah,
line fast. I'm straight line fast. I'm not quick. I don't have like explosive. I could never jump even at my even at my best, I could
yeah.
barely, So even like kind of working on that, I think there's a ceiling that's above any sort of like major level. I don't think I have the mentality for football. I don't think I could like get myself.
Nah.
I don't think I could get myself big enough or mean enough to be a lineman. I could maybe have been like a tight end. You know what I mean? Like if I'm
I
gonna play
could see that.
football, like tight end would have probably been the closest because that's like closest
Yeah,
to basketball.
yeah,
But
yeah,
again, I don't think I have the mental. I don't think I have the like killer instinct to even do that. To even be like a route running tight end. When I did
yeah.
play pickup
No.
football, I was good. I had good hands. It was hard to bring me down. I was a tough runner, but yeah, that's just like pickup football against
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think I think base if I think baseball would have been the path for me. If I
Okay.
if I had to focus on a thing cuz I think I have the right kind, I'm big enough. I have
Yeah,
the
right
I
frame for
like
sure.
right frame. When I did focus on baseball and like practice like as a kid, I was like pretty good. I was a good first baseman. I pitched for a while. I was like a utility guy.
Mhm.
As like one of the
Yeah.
bigger guys on the team, I was a utility guy. I played every position except for shortstop in my base. Like I pitched, I caught, I was mostly first
It's
base and
tough.
outfield. But yeah, I was a catcher like through like I was like our second catcher like till I was 15. And I was like bit like,
That's
like I was
that's
I was
yeah.
tall,
There's not a
you
lot.
know?
There's not a lot of really tall catchers. Yeah.
Yeah, there are none at like higher levels, but like I could play like all over the field. I
Yeah.
had I was always a good contact hitter. Um Never hit for power, but I think if I would have studied baseball more and like actually practiced more, I could have like developed that sort of like more tools in my baseball
Yeah.
arsenal. I think of any sport. And then there are sports that like I have no clue what it cuz like swimming, like I'm tall, I'm pretty long. I have like long arms and legs. So I have
Yeah.
I have no idea if that would have been something that would have actually like benefited me. Like I've got
Yeah.
like I've got like long legs and arms, which I think is pretty good for swimmers. Or is that not good? Are you supposed to have longer torso than legs? I forget.
Um, I
Like what's
feel
Michael Phelps is like the ideal swimmer's body. And it's
I
like,
think he's got both though. I think he's
yeah,
like long torso and long limbs.
long torso and yeah. He's like ridiculously proport. He doesn't look correct when you like actually like look at his
Yeah.
body like
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
just
He's a
like it's
weird.
like perfectly made for
It's like,
swimming.
yeah, you're built to be a swimmer.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't. I have no idea if my body matches that at all, or if I would have tried it, it would have worked.
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't tell you there.
And then
The
yeah, I
only The only other thing I could maybe I think I could have done. I mean, outside of the sports that I did focus on, like what was I best at? It was probably running, but like I knew that there was like I was never going to be an Olympian. Like that just
Yeah.
wasn't gonna happen. Um, the only other thing I think I maybe could have done is be a goalie, be a soccer goalie.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I see. I can see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
just from a size, from a anticipation type of thing. But again, this it's not something I've ever done outside of like
But
playing
you're
occasional
yeah, of
indoor.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like kind of saying like based on like what you know about your like skill set and like
Mhm.
whether it's like athleticism like or yeah, you also said computer programming. So the way your brain works too. Um
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's it. So what would your final stat line in your NBA game be? Playing it
So now
straight.
here's
What
the
would you
thing.
do?
Here's the thing. Coming like I'd like to think that I'd be smart enough to not really focus on anything other than scoring.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you wouldn't try to play D. You wouldn't
Yeah.
look for rebounds. You wouldn't. Yeah,
But like
except for
I know
getting a
myself.
passing lane. Yeah.
Yeah. I know myself. I know there would be a point like 20 minutes in, especially if I scored,
If you score early, then
decently early.
it's all gravy
Yeah.
from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's part of me that worries like, would I stay on the floor long enough, like not to foul out? There's part of me
Okay.
that worries about that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh. You're
but
yeah,
but
because yeah.
like if I'm jumping passing lanes, if I'm like trying to take a charge or something to pick up, well, actually, I wouldn't get the free throw on the charge anyway, so
Yeah.
there's no
Fouling
point.
out's a
No
real
point.
concern.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But final stat line, I think you could put me down for 6 points. Um, one of those being from a three. I think I'm hitting probably another 3 free throws after that in
Three
various
for what from
places.
the line?
3 for 6. I don't think I'm bombing it at the line.
You shooting two techs and you're getting to the line twice?
Yeah, shooting 2 techs and then like maybe getting fouled,
Yeah.
and splitting the pair. Um, but I think I would run into a couple of rebounds. I'm gonna say like
Couple
maybe two
long
or three
boards,
boards. Yeah, a
floorboard,
couple of
yeah.
long boards.
You get a couple
Uh,
bounce. You're in the game 40 minutes. You're gonna grab a
yeah,
couple. You're
you're
gonna
gonna
grab a ball's gonna bounce your way at least once.
exactly. 2 steals.
Maybe an offensive
Uh,
board even. You're crashing offensive boards. You don't crash on D. You
I
go
might try
out.
to get a putback. I might try to get a putback.
Yeah.
That's like the only way I would be able to score is if no one's crashing and I just crash real hard.
All right. Here's a question for you. You haven't scored yet, right? Games
Mm-hmm.
clock's ticking down. You're in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're on a breakaway.
Okay.
Nobody's.
Do I try to
Nobody's.
dunk it?
Yeah. Do you try to throw it down or do you just go for the layup? You know where I'm going with that question. Do you try to put on a show? Do you try to dunk in your one NBA appearance, or do you just lay it up?
I know me. The answer is I would try to dunk
You
it.
would try to dunk. I know
I
you. You
would.
would try to dunk it.
I would try to dunk it.
Yeah.
And if you gave me a year and $1 million, I would be in good enough shape to feel pretty confident about it.
Here's what I say for that. I know me. And if I tried to lay it up, I would probably get nervous and miss. So I might go with a year of training in that situation. I might also
Yeah,
go for the dunk because
it
it
might
might
be
be a
safer.
higher percentage. Might be
It's true.
safer to go for the dunk.
That's true.
Will
That
I
is true.
will I travel? Probably. Will I travel while doing it? Of course I will.
Will I brick it off the back of the rim? Yeah, probably. That's
Uh-huh.
what'll happen. I've done
Uh
that before. It's not fun.
oh man, let's move on to hip hop where I brought a
Yeah.
question to the table this week. I saw a
Yeah.
TikTok where someone was asking the question, what is the most well-known rap verse of all time?
Of all time.
The rap verse that is known by the most amount of people. So I think we need to to set a couple criteria before we give our thing. Because this guy, he goes through a couple answers, he goes through a couple options, and then he finally settles on what I think might be the actual answer, which is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. I don't
Yeah.
think it counts, but I think if you
It's not
do,
a single rap verse, but
yeah,
yeah.
I think if you do count it, of course, it's a
That's the
primetime
right answer.
television show from the early 90s. Millions of people watched it. They watched it every week. It's got the nostalgia factor. It's a simple rap. It's easy to remember.
Very simple. Yep.
Yeah, everybody loves it. Everybody sings along when it comes on. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
across the board, everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. I don't think it counts. You agree, right?
I would agree. Yeah, because yeah, as a purist, it's a combination of a few verses of the actual song.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, that's
it's
true.
not really one verse.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think of that. Good
You
one.
know, and well, it's a theme song, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really count.
Even if you count it as a song, it's not a whole verse. It's combination of the verse. That's a even better point than me trying to say it doesn't count because it's a just a theme song. That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that I feel even stronger saying that it doesn't count now.
Yeah.
But what do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I want you to go first, as I feel like my answer is going to be controversial.
Okay, I like that. I like controversy on this podcast. So I had a few options, right? I was trying to think of something that was like super popular. When I first saw this video, I paused it before I got to any of his answers. Okay. Before he gave
Okay.
an answer,
Yeah.
before he gave an option, I paused it. I didn't listen. I was trying to think it up myself. And the
Yeah.
first two that came to mind was the opening verse of Nothing But a G Thing and the opening
Okay.
verse of Lose Yourself. I think Nothing But a G Thing has a lot of things going for it. Heyday of MTV, mid 90s, nostalgia factor. It's an easy verse to,
Sure.
there's not a lot of like complexity going. It's straightforward.
Not at all.
Everybody loves that song. Stone Cold classic. It's played at every party, every laid back party you're at, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that has a lot of things going for it. I still don't think I have a definitive answer for this. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna give a few options. Um Another option, like I said, opening verse of Lose Yourself. It's kind of another peak era for rap, early 2000s, Napster era, I'll call it, people downloading it. That song was huge. It was all over the place. Every
Mhm.
football team for 5 years had it on their pump up, their weight room list,
If not still.
if not still. So people who don't even listen to rap, you have like country boys in Nebraska who hate rap, but still, it's Eminem. So, it's got the racist
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
You got the
It's
white boy
their kind of
factor.
rap.
Yeah, you got the white boy factor of Eminem going, but it's still also a legit song that charted for a while. That was like super. It's also memorable. You have the like whole mom spaghetti like memification of it.
Chappelle put it on the map.
Yeah, Chappelle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's an option.
Sure.
And then I have two more. I don't love this one, but it did pop into my head. It's
Well,
another.
well,
Oh,
hold on one
please.
sec, because
Oh,
I want
please.
to,
Yes.
yeah, I want to go in on Lose Yourself for a minute.
Great.
I think a lot of people think they know the first verse of Lose
Oh,
Yourself,
so okay.
but don't.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That's a good. What's the criteria? How much of the like are we saying people need to know like 80% of the actual lyrics
Right. Right.
to
Yeah.
to have it count? So that's another thing. With Eminem, you have a little bit more complexity to make it harder for people to, you might get a lot of like mumbling along and then like picking up
Yeah.
at the end of a line.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of that going with Lose Yourself. So
Mhm.
then I have two more options. The first one I don't love, which is but it popped in my head as another mid 90s movie connected song that was huge with everybody. Even me, Central Pennsylvania, everybody knew it. It was Gangsta's Paradise. I think that's
Shout out and R.I.P. Coolio. Yeah.
R.I.P. Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise. Yeah, I think it was a huge song. I think it doesn't have quite the staying power of G Thing. I don't, but it still does have some staying power.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then my final option is um opening verse, maybe. My final option is Juicy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would.
just
Yeah,
another Stone
it's
Cold
up there.
classic in the vein of G Thing. It's on every laid back rap mix you're ever gonna hear. It's one of the greatest artists of all time. It's an easy verse to remember.
Very
It's a
easy.
simple rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
Everybody love. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Everybody knows that.
Got it on
Everybody
a
loves
t-shirt.
talking
Yeah.
about the World Trade. It's got it's got renewed life when the World Trade Center fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
you know
Reminds people of the first World Trade Center issue. Yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty of reasons, and like
there's a lot.
everybody loves Big. Big's such a figure in hip hop.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would agree. I would also put that on a list of verses that people think they know that they may not know as well as they think they do.
I've
But
been at a lot of parties with a lot of people who don't know rap, who sing along, like who are good with that verse, word for
yeah,
word,
yeah.
like word
I
for
would
word.
agree. It's much simpler than Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
And Lose
Oh, a
Yourself's
whole
pretty
lot.
simple.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
When it comes to it's not Rap God or anything.
yeah, yeah. I think those are all great choices. I would say those are probably 1, 2, and 3 in some order of like what the right answer is if you can get to a right answer here.
Yeah. I also played around with the idea of some sort of, but I couldn't think of the right one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I played around with the idea of a rap verse on another popular song. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, well, I got the right
there's
answers.
that Katy Perry song, like Dark Horse, that's got like a rap verse on it. You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like, but I don't
sure.
think that's big enough. There's also, and there's a problem, there's two problems with this one. One, it's too complicated. Two, they cut it out from the radio version and it's Left Eye's verse from Waterfalls. That that song is
That's actually a
huge.
really good
It's
point. I
too
had not thought about
it's
that.
too complicated. And people know I seen a rainbow yesterday. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they fall off real
That's
fast. A lot of
that's
people
one
at
of the
karaoke.
earliest that's
A
one of
lot,
the earliest verses that I like felt like I was good with when I was younger. I'm like, oh no, like I know this one.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people
that's a
think they know that. Go up at karaoke and then fall behind. They're
yeah, yeah,
they're 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 1.5 bars behind when they try to rap that at karaoke.
and because Left Eye, she's switching up her flow within it too. Like
Yeah,
it's a great, yeah. No, that's a good point.
yeah, but
Good
also
point.
they cut it out. I remember when that song was popular, it
Yeah,
got cut out. They didn't play it on VH1. They only played it on
yeah.
MTV
It depends on
sometimes.
the station. It depends on the
Yeah,
yeah, like
like it's getting played on like weekly top 20 countdown might not get played, but on the hip hop countdown, they're
it'll get,
playing
yeah,
the verse.
yeah. No, that's a good point.
It's a different time. It's a
I
different
had
time.
not thought about that one.
Just like, do we play the rap verse of this song or not?
Do we need to? If I need to
Yeah,
shorten this, like,
yeah. What gets cut?
yeah. Oh man, that's a really good point. I'm mad that I didn't think of that because
Ah,
that should certainly be in the conversation. Um,
yeah. I think that.
talk about songs that were underappreciated at the time.
Yeah,
Like,
Waterfalls,
yeah,
huge.
that song. That's well, the song is huge. Like, it's a catchy song. It's talking about some like
Some real, yeah.
real issues.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in sixth grade in music class, we had an assignment where we had to bring in a song with a message, and 90% of the class brought in that song. Me,
Nice.
I
Nice.
brought in Two Every Season, Turn, Turn, Turn.
Wow.
Yeah, because I
Wow.
was still in my little Bible boy days when I was in sixth
Yeah.
grade. I was
No,
still a little Bible boy.
that's a good one. That's a good one though. I mean, I was, in a similar vein. I remember in 8th grade, we our middle school principal taught a lit elective, and we had to bring in a song where we like analyzed the lyrics from, talking about the writing and things like that. And I chose The Convo by DMX. To freaking so I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna pick a DMX song, but like it's gonna be
I chose
the
The
one
Omen.
religious track.
I chose The Omen, the one where he sells his soul to the devil, and then the follow-up, Damien. I think there's a third part.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. Every DMX album just had a nice formula you could follow.
Yeah.
I thought about DMX
Oh,
for
yeah.
like this conversation, but I don't think that there's a song that like people feel confident enough in.
Yeah.
Like Party Up was probably the closest you were gonna get to like
I love my
Universal,
baby
but
mama.
like
I'll never let her go. Like that's one of
yeah,
those like
exactly.
people
You'll
just
just get
jump in
lines
that
here and
part.
there.
Yeah, you just get lines.
Yeah.
You whack, you
Yeah.
twisted,
Your girls, oh woo.
you broke, kid ain't yours, and everybody know. Old man say you stupid. You be like, so I love my
So
baby mama. I'll never let her. Oh man.
see, exactly. It's people, the verse, and like that's one where like people might not know DMX. Not to say there's a ton of people that don't, but like they might not know DMX, but they will probably know those lyrics.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
and if you're
another
older,
thing.
you probably know them too.
You're jumping in. You're jumping in bars here and there. You're taking bars off. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Then I thought, all
Oh
right.
no, I just thought of a terrible one.
Ooh,
I
what's in
don't
there?
think it's I don't think it's the right answer, but it's a terrible one. And it's that song that Limp Bizkit did with Method Man. Or
Oh
like some
God.
sort like yeah.
Well, so here I'll give you like a song that came to mind.
Uh-huh.
Bad Touch. Um,
Ooh.
so I was like,
Does
it's
that count?
technically rap. I was like, it's technically rap.
I think it was too much of a novelty song.
Well, that's the thing. Do
It
you
was
throw out novelty
popular.
songs?
I'm not disqualifying it because it's a novelty song. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
don't think it reached a point where enough people knew it. Like, like
Mm.
moms know you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. There's
Like
what I
Juicy,
was
like
trying to. Yeah.
moms in '94 knew Juicy because it sampled Juicy Fruit and it was
Right.
it sampled it. It just played the track.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they knew that song and they like listened to it and whether they liked it or not, they know
It
of
was
it.
familiar.
Like it was familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I like a lot of people, no matter how like easy Bad Touch is or whatever, like people are turning it off because it like,
Because it's a
not as
terrible
many
song.
people are
Yeah.
listening to it.
Right. No, I would agree with you there. I would agree with you
People who
there.
actually listen to hip hop are not listening to that. They're turning it off.
That's true. That's true. Um, then I came across like, okay, so like you were saying, let's go like rap pop collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
What might be in that conversation? Well, actually, before I got there, I also stayed in the parody lane. Um, if I said to you, lazy Sunday, wake up in the
I
late
That
afternoon,
just popped into
like,
my head. I
yeah,
swear I knew it.
yeah.
I knew that was going. Yeah, it really just popped into my head. I don't think people know the whole. I don't think
Yeah,
people know
people
the
don't
whole
know the whole
verse.
thing.
No.
Exactly.
If you
Exactly.
were just talking about like what rap song do most people know, like that maybe is in the conversation of like something that
Right.
reached like a cultural zeitgeist outside of like pop music and in what I
Right.
mean? Like I don't know how many like YouTube views it has or whatever,
Oh
but
God,
like
silly numbers. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But but I don't think people actually know all the lyrics. That would be my
And
pushback against it.
no, I would agree. That's true. And I also don't think that has the staying power that we think it did.
That's true. Yeah, it was everywhere for a long time. Yeah, I bet like 20-year-old kids right now don't know it. And they might
My
not think it's
girlfriend's younger
funny.
than me. She loves The Office. I've seen every episode of The Office hundreds of times. Did not know that the Lazy Scranton reference was a reference to that. Just
Wow.
thought that it was a video. I was like, you didn't think that video was like really, really weird
Just
then?
really weird and specific. And it's just like, well, it's
Yeah.
The Office. A lot of stuff is.
It was like, yeah, it's all weird. So like it doesn't have I don't think it has the staying power. So I tried to think of something that is popular enough with enough young people,
Mm-hmm.
but still could reach enough older people. And I don't think I settled on that, but I think popular enough with the right group of and generation of people.
Mm-hmm.
Where I landed was Ludacris's verse on Justin Bieber's Baby.
Oh,
Uh,
I think that
because
many
that
people.
song was enormous.
I couldn't tell you, and I know that I'm not the like cultural touchstone for this, but I couldn't
Right,
like.
right.
I couldn't.
You were not. But here's the thing. I could not give you all of Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you straight up. Like I
Even I mean, we're just talking like
never
first
could at
verse.
its peak. Yeah, no, no.
I wonder if I could just off the top right now. You know,
I
like
think a lot of
I'm not
people
gonna
think they
try.
can, but they can't.
Yeah.
But
Palms are sweaty.
and that song was just that song never did anything for me.
Yeah. Lose
Like
yourself. It never pumps
it's
you
not
up.
it's not that I dislike Eminem.
Uh-huh.
I will never call myself the biggest Eminem fan, but I
Sure.
respect him. And at that point in his career, I was probably an active M listener. That song
I
just never
mean,
did it for me.
everybody was an active Eminem listener
Yeah,
at that
it was
time.
you couldn't escape it.
It was, I mean, that was such a run. That was Marshall Mathers LP, uh, to
Slim Shady LP.
Dre's album. I mean, I think Eminem's peak is between, you know, I think it's inarguable between Marshall Mathers LP and then the Eminem
The
show,
Eminem show.
because
Yeah.
like the D12 album came in there, the Dre, I think 2001 came in
Bills.
there. You know, lose yourself, that came, the 8 Mile soundtrack, and then he was just like Mr. Guest Verse too.
Right. Right. Yeah. But Justin Bieber was a force and still is a
Do you
force.
think he reaches? That is true. That's very true.
And here's my thing. There's there's a group of tweens right now that are Justin Bieber fans that may go back and listen to that song
Yeah.
and know it because they love Justin Bieber. But there's definitely a group of younger millennials to older Gen Zs that know that word, that like know that verse. And
Hmm.
that's like a really big
And it was such a huge song.
chunk. Yeah. Like
And and
I
it's
know
pretty
the
easy.
first 4 bars of it. It's very simple.
Yeah,
It's
I was gonna say,
because
yeah.
it's it's for a very simple song. It's him featured on a song with like a 12-year-old. So like
I wish I knew
it's
this
real
song
simple.
more, because I know it's like the baby, baby, baby. Oh, I'm sorry to say it.
You have 50% of the song right
Like
there.
that's the song, right?
That's the song.
I had
It
no
was
idea
Justin
there was a
Bieber's
version with
lead single.
Ludacris. I had
Yes.
no
So
idea there was a version with Ludacris on it.
yeah,
Because
it
Bieber's
starts.
like, was it? Isn't he like an Usher? Like Usher signed him, right? Is he like a?
Yeah,
Or am I thinking?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's yeah, but Luda hopped on the guest verse because Luda's got a surprising amount of guest verses on like R&B pop songs. Um and yeah, it's a really simple verse. Like when I was 13, I had my first love. Like it's so simple and vanilla.
Okay, yeah.
Um that like
That's
you
ringing a little
if
bit of bells.
yeah, and if you were like, "Oh, I'm a little kid, I really just am just here to listen to Justin Bieber," you also wouldn't turn that off. Like you would know those words too.
Hmm.
It's very nice and clean and wholesome. So I think it's in the conversation.
Wow. Are
Yeah.
there any because I gave like thought to a couple other things. There's like Vanilla Ice. You know, I don't think people know the full
Here's the
verse.
thing. Our generation would barely know that.
Yeah, and
And
there's
there's
no
two
staying power.
generations, two like significant generations behind us.
There's
So
no staying power in it. I
yeah.
also looked up the most streamed rap songs of all time, or highest selling rap songs. There's
Mhm.
number one is Wiz Khalifa, "See You Again." That's
See you again. Yeah.
whenever this article is about 2 years old. I don't know if anything came out since
I don't
then.
think anything's
Then there's
past
like
it. Yeah.
Eminem and Rihanna, "Love the Way You Lie." I don't think that song's like. There's 50 Cent, "In the Club," which
So I kept coming back to that, and I was like,
that might be the most well-known chorus of all time.
yeah, great hook,
Yeah.
maybe intro too,
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know about the verse.
Number 4 is Lose Yourself, so it is one of the most streamed songs. So it does have that
For
like
sure.
popularity. Then we got Nelly featuring Kelly Rowland, Dilemma. We've got
That's a good
Macklemore
one.
and Ryan Lewis, Can't Hold Us. Then Gangsta's Paradise. Then
Okay.
Stan, which is a simple song, but I don't think people
Dear
really know
Slim.
the. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there was a point where I knew Stan better than I did Lose Yourself.
Then, I mean, I could probably rap most of Eminem's early catalog line for line now if you put it on. Like, probably not without it playing, but
Right.
it's still
Right.
in
You
there.
can rap along to it. Yeah. There's a
I
lot of
used
stuff
to
that's
put
like, can I
I used to
volunteer
put
this? Yeah.
albums on low while I slept so they would get into my brain through osmosis, and it worked.
It definitely works. It definitely worked. Yeah.
And then number 9 is Juicy, which it's
Yeah.
so it definitely does have the staying power. There's a couple
Yeah.
other interesting ones here. Shook Ones is I don't think people actually know the verses.
No.
Killing Me Softly, the Fugees. There's not really
Um,
rap verses on that though. That's mostly a
yeah,
Lauryn
I
Hill
was gonna
song.
say, yeah, that's basically just Lauren Solo.
Ice Cube, It Was a Good Day, Wu-Tang Cream, Straight Outta Compton, Fuck the Police, uh, Runaway, One Dance, It's Like That by Run DMC, Electric Relaxation by A Tribe Called Quest is number 20. I don't
Great
think any,
song.
yeah,
But
but
not that people know the lyrics that easily.
yeah, I think we're at, I
Yeah,
think we're at a
I think
point. It's hard. Yeah,
unless you're making some concession around the percentage of the verse that people have to know in order for it to count.
exactly. Yeah,
There's like the occasional Outcast song that I could see being in the conversation, like a
like
Miss
Miss
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, like things like that.
Yeah, I
But I don't
think
think people know enough of the lyrics.
Hey Ya
Is that a rap song though?
is I yeah, that's a good question.
Because
Is
if
that a
it
rap
is, then
song?
sure. If it is, then sure. But I would say that that's just a song.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you consider it a rap song because it's by a rapper, or does it transcend, or does it go outside of
So
genre?
the question was best rap verse, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think Hey is eliminated because
Yeah,
it's not a rap song.
yeah.
It's a song evocative of the Beatles. Remember that discourse when it came out? It was like it's Beatles
Oh, good
esque.
God. Ugh. Yeah, I think lose yourself is the right answer, but never resonated with me. So
Here's here's another thing. The answer is probably some like K-pop song that like a billion people know that like you know what I mean? There's probably some
well, yeah,
verse on a K-pop song that like billions of people outside of America know. Like technically that's probably the answer.
yeah. It's probably like Gangnam Style or something. Like,
Yeah, we're talking about American rap, okay? We're not talking about world music.
don't give me Despacito. Don't
Yeah.
give me some Afro beat
Yeah,
track.
that
No, no.
billions of people know outside of the United States of America. Nah, don't give
Yeah,
me
no,
some
that's
Bollywood song that
no,
everybody in India learns.
no.
And yeah, no, no, we're talking just straight American hip hop.
God, we're so sheltered, but we run the world, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Everything else is just revolving around us.
Keenan, let's move into culture. And in talking about running the world, we talked about it last week. Philly sports runs the
You
world
talking
right
about
now.
this?
We're talking
This
about
running the
that.
world? Is that
We're
what you're
talking
talking
about
about?
that running the world. We're talking about Philly running the world.
Oh, baby.
And the world meaning the World Series of baseball,
Yeah. Not
the
the World Series of Dice.
the Philadelphia Phillies.
Philadelphia Phillies, man.
Man,
Like, talk about improbable runs.
I did not know how much I missed the very specific stress of watching playoff baseball.
So yeah, it had been a while, it's been 10 years or so. And like, it's not the same when it's year 4, year 5 of a dynasty
Mm-hmm.
versus like on the way up.
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of stress, you
And
know.
it will never, that Phillies run will go unmatched for the rest of my life for a few specific reasons. That was what, like 2007 through 2010, 11, something like that. Like what,
11, yeah, yeah.
2011. I mean,
12
that,
if you want to count, but yeah,
and then like, a year or two coming up, but like, that was like, there was no better time in my life. I was like
yeah.
finishing
No, it
finishing
was great. That was great.
college, finishing college, right out of college, living in
Yeah,
Philadelphia, figuring shit out. Like
yep.
it was like a time where like I had no responsibilities really, no real like bills, no real like adult stress, but all the adult freedom.
Plenty
Like
of time to
living in a
devote.
city, plenty of time. I could go to games. I could like,
Yeah,
I like rallied behind a team. You got to see this team come up. Like nothing will ever. It was like combination of like best time for Phillies baseball and just like best time in like a young person's life.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
things coming
Because
together.
and like baseball's such a social sport.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
During the regular season, like attending a baseball game, it's very easy, very relaxed.
Yeah.
Like it's
Leisurely
just a summer
activity.
thing to do.
Yeah. People who
So you're
don't like
already enjoying it.
sports, yeah, will go to a baseball game and be like, "Oh, I'm outside. There's like a field of grass. I can walk
Yeah,
around." It's yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's great. And like yeah, watching that team, I think um that was one of the first teams that I like really felt like truly connected to. It was like you
yeah,
watch
mm-hmm.
these guys come through the farm system because it was largely a group of homegrown guys.
Yeah,
And then there was the
I mean
pieces that were added
the
in, but
teams that won, the team that actually won the World Series was mostly homegrown. The
yeah,
years
yeah,
after
exactly.
where they were like the best team in baseball that didn't win the World Series,
Right,
like
right.
sorry all the fans out there now who are complaining about the Phillies because they made the World Series from a wild card point. Like, yeah, we were the best team in baseball and didn't make the World Series too. We didn't
Yeah,
cry. That's how baseball's
yeah.
always been.
That's how it works. That's how it
Stop
works. Yeah.
crying. Stop being a baby. It's all about who's hot at the right time.
Yep. Yep.
Or
And
it,
that's the beauty of it too. It's like you can
yeah,
just like you can watch a team like get on a run and just
yeah.
be
The
good for a long enough stretch.
I mean that four aces Philly team. You know what I mean? Like
Team
there's
was loaded.
there's almost not a better team in baseball history than that team.
Yeah, the team was
On like
loaded.
four legitimate aces plus Joe Blanton,
Joe the Lumber.
a good bullpen.
Mhm.
Like they had
Great offense.
great offense. Like that's like
And defensively they were solid.
they
There
won
were
like
some holes, but they were
what they win
solid.
like 110 games or something like that, and then
A
like
lot, a lot of games.
yeah,
Yeah.
lost like to the I think that's the year they lost to the Giants in the second round. It was like the year before
Because
it all went down.
because we ran into Cody Ross, who just happened to be hot at the
To be
time.
hot,
Like
yeah,
that's all it was.
and they had good pitching. They
Yeah.
Bumgardner was like unhittable.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And then, the night they lost 1-0 to the Cardinals and then Ryan Howard like tore his Achilles running the first on. That's
Yeah.
one of the low points of my life. Like
I remember,
I
yeah,
remember
just
I was like out in Philly. I watched that game. Like it's legitimately one of the saddest it's one of
yeah.
the times I felt the most sad in my whole entire life.
Yeah. Because you literally you watched like, oh, this is over.
Yeah, it's like
Right there.
yeah,
This is it.
it's like if my life was like the movie Boogie Nights, like that's the point where like 1979 turns to 1980, the guy kills himself in front of everybody, and it's like, oh no, things have just changed. Like that is
Yeah,
my little
yeah.
bit. Like yeah, Ryan Howard rupturing his Achilles is my little Bill blowing his head off in the hallway.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, it's very rare, I think, that you when you're in the middle of something special that you like know when it's over. A lot of
Oh
times
yeah,
you
and
realize too late.
that was a very
But
this
yeah.
is over moment.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that okay. We're done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was such a great like. Were you at the first year they made the playoffs, were you at Danielle's house that morning? Because I remember watching that. The Phillies, I forget if the Phillies played the Mets or the Mets had to lose and then the Phillies had to win. But there was like a party at Danielle's house the night before.
In '07 when we
In
first made the
07,
playoffs.
like the first year they made the playoffs. Yeah. When it came
I
down to like the last game of the season.
yeah, I don't think I
You
was
might have
there.
been there like the night before at the party, but I
Maybe.
remember like, yeah, I remember like she lived in the suburbs or something, so I like went to and I like just like crashed on her floor and then like
Yeah.
stayed there and like watched baseball the next day and just like
Yeah.
remember like hitting my knees and celebrating when like they actually made the play because it was like
Yeah.
it was a build up. It was like a couple
Well,
years,
yeah, because like
couple years
05,
run.
06, you could see it coming. In like '06, we like almost did it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There were I remember very vividly
Yeah, and then
going down to DC. We would like always have a series with the Nats.
are you
And
talking
it was like
Sombrero Man? Are you
I,
talking
well,
Sombrero
yes,
Man, Keenan?
there is some yes.
When you were on TV
Oh
all
God,
night during that rain delay as
that's right,
Sombrero
baby.
Man?
Yes, me wearing a ridiculously large sombrero,
And like, yeah, and it was a
and
rain
some
delay.
fan wearing a Spartan, like a Spartan helmet. And yeah, there was a huge rain delay, but the game had to get played, and so by the time they resumed play, there were like 1,000 fans left in the stands, like
Yeah.
maybe like 3,000,
And you
but
were
like
like behind the dugout, just
yeah, because
on
everyone moved
TV all
down.
yeah.
Everyone moved down and were just like around the first few rows of the stadium because everyone fit there. And I was wearing an enormous sombrero, so you couldn't miss me.
Yeah. But I
Um,
feel like oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say there was like we would always go down to DC and it'd be like, all right, yeah, this team's terrible. If we just like take two or three from them, if not sweep them, like that'll leave us in a really good position. And we would always like either get swept or like lose
Yeah,
two
right
of
at
the
the end of the
three in like a
season.
heartbreaking fashion. They would just put us out, and then the arena would rupture into Eagles chants because that's like all we had at the moment. It
Yeah.
was rough. It was rough times.
Yeah, but like this current Phillies team is like a nice mix of like homegrown talent and then like a few pieces that they got in, free agency trades, like which is like kind of more how baseball has to be now, I guess,
Usually,
right?
yeah,
With the way
it's
that
how it
like things are
usually is. Yeah,
structured.
yeah. And what I do think is interesting about this team, at least for me personally, is like at the beginning of the season, I remember being like, I don't really like this team. Like
Yeah, like you don't like
these
the
people
fellas, you don't like the
individually.
collection
Yeah,
of fellas,
yeah.
a bunch of anti-vaxxers and
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is like a nice, right leaning, rednecky, anti-vax COVID
yeah.
denier team.
Now
But
you're like, I don't want to see their tweets, but
yeah, it's like I'm not gonna hang out with you guys, but like I'll root for you. Let's
yeah.
bring some joy to the city. I do think it's hilarious that um they have chosen
I was gonna
to
ask
go
you
on
this
my
question.
own.
This is the next question I was gonna ask you. You're
And
ahead of the
like
curve.
it like it's just funny to me that this group of guys has chosen like respectfully one of the gayest
Yeah.
songs
Uh-huh. Like a
out
gay
there, like
anthem.
an LGBTQIA plus anthem,
Mm-hmm.
and adopted it as their victory song.
Yeah,
It's
this
pretty funny.
specific group of guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very funny. It's very funny to see.
And it's also one of the earwormiest songs ever. I cannot get it out of my head.
That song's a banger. I don't care who's asking me. I have no qualms admitting that the song is a fucking
All
banger.
versions of it too. The original, the Robin
The
version.
the one that they're playing is growing on me, but like
The,
I'm always gonna listen to the
the one they're
original
playing is like a dance remix of the
of a
cover.
remix. Yeah,
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 it's like a
or of a
remix
cover.
of a
Yeah,
cover, and the cover version's great too. It's like kind of slowed
yeah,
down, like a sad version of Robin's original kind of like
yeah,
dance mix, and they're all great. They all
yeah,
have a place. I'm gonna take Robin's. If I want to dance, I'm gonna put Robin's original version on instead of
for
the
sure,
remix of
for
the
sure.
remix of the cover. But the cover on its own, stands
It's not bad. It's
in
not
the
bad. No.
corner. It's the stands in the corner watching you kiss her.
Oh man, yeah, it's just funny to watch this team, but I'll take it. And like,
And I do also love that they have not completely abandoned High Hopes. They still play High Hopes.
yes,
Still got to get
yes,
Harry in there, because I was a little
absolutely.
bit worried when that song came out, like either when they made the playoffs or like when they won the first
Mhm.
round. I was like, this
Yeah,
is cool, this is great, but a little bit of me was just like, they better not get rid of High Hopes
no,
because
no, no, no. You can't do it. You can't do it. You need that connection.
yeah,
You need that connection for sure.
yeah, I think.
Um,
But
I do
what do you
think it's
think?
I do think it's funny that there's this whole connection with the economy and a Philadelphia baseball
Oh
team
yeah,
winning the World
yeah,
Series.
The A's in like
Yeah,
the 20s, and then
yeah.
the
Certain downfall in 80, the
1980,
Great Recession in
2008.
08.
We're
Yeah.
getting we're heading that way now. You know what? I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Well, and here's the thing. I originally thought, everyone hates the Astros, so that America would be rooting for us. But now I'm like, all right, maybe America's trying to root against a
An
recession. But
economic
like,
recession.
we're already there.
Look,
We're
Keenan,
already
I'll
there.
take an economic recession. 2 days after the Phillies won the World Series in 2008, my mother died. If I have to sacrifice another loved one, let me know who it
Jeez.
is.
Jesus. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's hope it doesn't
Nah,
come.
I think it was a complete coincidence. I don't think
I
one
don't
had
think those two
anything
were
to do with
connected.
another.
Yeah, no, I don't think those two are connected either.
Yeah, I don't think they were
Yeah.
connected at all.
One thing that may be sacrificed though is maybe the Sixers have to suffer while the Phillies are playing well because
They are suffering.
they are suffering.
I'm
I don't
I'm
want to.
on I'm on team they're trying to get rid of Doc.
I
That's
I
I
don't think you're far off.
I buy into that. They don't like Doc. They want him out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're they're tanking a little bit.
yeah. And it's interesting
Who do they
when
want?
you
Sam Cassell? I think if you're on that
I don't know.
bench, if you're on that bench and if you're on that bench and you want Doc gone, you probably are tanking for Cassell.
Team Cassell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
they're
mean,
not like outside of Harden, none of them want D'Antoni, right? I guess Embiid had a pretty good relationship with D'Antoni when he was an assistant with
I
Philly,
mean, sure, but like,
but that's not what they want. Yeah,
let's
it's
just
Cassell.
like let's finish the Houston rebuild if we're gonna bring D'Antoni in. Like we know how that ends. It doesn't end in a championship. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I don't know who else is. I don't know what the other options would be, but I mean, like, you know, the
Mark
Sixers
Jackson. I don't know.
the Sixers didn't want to bring Doc back this year. They were hoping that they were in a stare down with the Lakers. They wanted the Lakers to hire them, but they didn't. They wanted the optics of getting something back, and the Lakers
Right,
wouldn't budge.
right.
Um, so they lost twice. They
So
didn't get
Doc's our guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't get a draft pick and they didn't get rid of Doc, but they were hoping. They were really hoping that the Lakers would, you know,
come calling. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it would have been
A,
nice.
a second round pick, a conditional second round pick. Just like
Just give me something.
just
Let me say I got something
please
back.
let me get something back. Yeah. And the Lakers just they don't have enough. They can't give up anything.
Well, I mean, maybe they'll trade him for AD right now at this point with the way they're playing. Like that team is in shambles.
Yeah. They're I don't know what their path is.
We're only what? This is episode 3. I may already be eating my words. If the Lakers continue to play this poorly, like, yeah, sure, maybe LeBron is back in Cleveland. Like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and I brought that up in episode 2. So it's only
That's
been 1 week.
There we go. It's only been 1 week. It's only been 1 week, and
As the bare
that's how
naked
bad they're
lady
playing.
said.
Does that count as a rap verse?
even if
Quick
it
enough.
does, not enough people know it. Not enough people know enough of it,
No, that's fair. That's fair.
It's too complex.
Yeah, way too intricate. Those
Yeah.
bare naked ladies.
Keenan, I think that does it for this week's
Yeah.
episode of the
Yeah.
Stretch 4 podcast. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Aaron Herzog. How about you, Keenan?
Twitter, you can find me at Keenan A. Willis, on Instagram at PhillyWriter21. I'll forewarn you, I'm private on both, so you're gonna have to ask. But
You need approval. I'm wide open. I'm wide open. DMs are open. Send me a DM. And yeah, we're also at Stretch4Pod. We're stretch4pod.com. Send us
yeah,
a question. Do you want us to talk about something? Send us a question.
yeah.
We should do a thing where if you want to ask a question, you also have to give us a good review.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want us to talk about a subject, give us a good review on Apple Podcasts, or share the podcast information on Twitter or Instagram. Post it on your
Yeah.
feed or in your stories, and then you get to ask us a question, and we guarantee we will talk about it. But we're trying to
Yes.
build this.
Money back guarantee.
We're building from the ground up. Yeah, you
Yes.
don't even have to pay. Just your time. Time is money. You give a little bit of it. So that is paying.
Yeah.
You get your time back guarantee. We're genies. We'll grant that wish.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Keep sharing, and we're looking forward to coming back at you with more content.
Yeah, Keenan, sign us off with something clever or fun. I'm putting you on the spot now.
Something clever or fun. This Phillies team, greatest Phillies team or greatest baseball team of all time? You let us know in the comments, in Aaron's DMs, in the Stretch 4 podcast DMs. But we're
Email
signing off.
stretch4pod@gmail.com.
Yes, all the ways. You let us know whether we're the greatest Phillies team or the greatest baseball team ever.
Period.
But signing off, you tell us what percentage of Lose Yourself do you know? And
Ooh,
prove it.
nice.
And
Oh,
prove it.
nice.
I need the voice recordings.
All right, we out.